Okay. Well, we'll wait for people to join us again and see what happens. Hopefully, they will. Hopefully. Hmm. Okay, we got one. Sorry. We're sorry. We apologize. Well, I apologize. That's how Keith is. He just don't care. It's all right.
I don't know what happened.
It's all right. Obviously, we're not good at that kind of stuff before. So, okay, how do I do that? How do I make you a mod? I don't know how that works. Do I just hover over you? I don't know. Should be able to put the mouse over me and 3 dots. Okay, yes, I see the 3 dots. I will click them. Oh, add moderator. Oh, I see. And the other thing is hide user on this channel. So, yay. Okay, thank you so much, John. Thank you. Thanks, you guys. Sorry about that. So, all right. So let's get started with the horror movie trivia questions. And I don't know, like some of them are hard, some of them are easy. We'll start with easy ones, do you think?
Whatever you want to do.
Okay. I think we'll pick a good one. All right.
Now, nothing reflecting your screen back here, is there?
I don't think so.
Remember that picture I put up where Kim Kardashian was playing cards and she had those mirror glasses?
They showed what cards she was using. Okay. All right. So this is an easy one. We'll start with an easy one. This is really, really easy, you guys. Really, really easy. Do this one.
Uh-oh.
That one.
Oh, that is easy.
Well, I know it's easy, but not everybody is into like the horror as we are.
So I say the whole thing? That part too?
Yeah, that and that. Easy, you guys.
All right. A Sinsa taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
All right, so we'll give you time to guess that one. That one's super, super easy. Super easy. Yes, John got it. Silence of the Lambs. Now, I will say this. We do not have a prize for whoever gets the most right. However, you will have our undying admiration. So that's kind of, a prize in itself, isn't it?
So you're going to go through these in any particular order?
No, well, there's 145 of them. I didn't figure we needed that many, but we'll just pick some good ones.
There's one. You can do that one.
Okay. All right. This is another easy one. Ready? A boy's best friend is his mother. Yes, 145, but I'm not going to do them all. Don't worry, fear not. So a boy's best friend is his mother.
Answer, Adam Sandler in The Water Boy.
Oh, because foosball the devil. That's right. Yes, Frank got it. Psycho, another very easy one. Which I just recently watched Psycho again not too long ago. And I really, really think it's kind of sad. I don't know. I just think it's kind of sad. Very good. And yes, Psycho. Judge told him. All right, let's see. Trying to pick some that are not obscure in the beginning. I think this is a good one. People probably guess this one. This isn't a horror movie, but
okay,
that's a good one. You want to do that one, or you want me to do it?
Sure. Okay.
Sure, what? You or me?
I can do this one.
Okay.
Yes. Ooh, ah. It always starts out that way, and then comes all the running and screaming.
Or sort of like that. Yes. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's a good one.
Well, do you want to rate it in your own way?
No, that's good too. All right. So far, I don't see anything, so I can give a hint. That movie that he just read the quote from had a sequel out this summer.
That's too easy.
Well,
Could have said it was like based on a book.
it is based on a book.
It was changing. It was change movies forever.
It did change movies forever. It's a good movie. Nope, it's not that one. Let's see, another clue. It has a great soundtrack. It has a really, really good soundtrack.
I got one, but it'll totally give it away. The terror is nearby by a shaking glass of water.
I was gonna say by the Jello, or the Jello shakes. Shaking Maximum Overdrive. Close. Okay, shaking Jello. Think shaking Jello.
Shaking glass of water.
Yes, and Jurassic Park. Well, actually, it's Jurassic Park Lost World, but we will accept that. Good job. All right.
You could do that one, but do it instead of doing that quote. Do get to the chopper.
Nobody's gonna know that one.
Are you kidding me? They show that meme all the time. Get to the chopper. Hey, Psycho. Hello.
Somebody wants to be in the stream with us.
Hello, Dutch.
I'm Mama's love bug. Hi.
All
Yes,
right, okay,
yes,
you
you're
gotta get out of
Mama's love bug. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Whoop, there goes.
All right. Go on. Go. Go on. Go keep an eye on Grandma. Hey. Go on.
All right, here. I'll do the next one. Keep you wrangle the dog.
Dutch.
All right,
Move.
this is another
Go.
easy one.
Hey. Yeah. Move it.
He's like, his ears are down when
Come
he's
on.
being like
Go.
sweet. His ears are down. He's like, don't you guys love
Dutch.
me?
Come on, buddy. Come on. Go check on Grandma. Hey.
All right, here's the next one. This one's pretty easy. What an excellent day for an exorcism.
I don't know that quote. I mean, I'm looking at it, but
Because you're not thinking of the person that says it.
get to the chopper. All right. What are you trying to buddy me up for? Oh, come on. No, you can't.
What are you going to call her? Luna and Journaling with Love.
All right. Just stay right there. You'd be good.
The Right. No, it's not The Right, but that's a good. I love The Right. The Right is so nice and creepy. Really, really creepy. I do like that one, but no. But it is another type of that movie. What an excellent day for an exorcism. Sounds like fun. That's what coloring for Summerween is all about. Coloring Halloween. I can't believe you. What a ham. Aw, Mama loves you. You're my love bug.
All right.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. No.
We'll go on to
You
the
stay
next
right
one.
there.
So this one was What an Excellent Day for an Exorcism comes from The Exorcist. But it's Pazuzu that says it. When they go into the room
All right, go.
where Reagan is,
Go on. Go.
and the demon says that to Father Marin. So
Go on.
that one was a little bit tricky.
Go check on Grandma. Go on, go check on Grandma.
Okay, this one I love. I love this one. this movie is one of my favorite movies ever. I'm going to do that one. I don't know if anybody will get this one, but I like this one a lot. They look like psychos. Is that what they look like? They were vampires. Psychos do not explode when sunlight hits them. I don't give a bleep how crazy they are. All right. Yeah, that's a good one. Would you have guessed that if you didn't know?
Yeah.
I would too, because I've seen that movie so many times. They were vampires. Psychos do not explode when sunlight hits them. I don't give a bleep how crazy they are.
Let's see.
Okay. Lost Boys is a really good guess, but that's not it. But that is a really good guess.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too. But no, it wasn't Lost Boys. It was From Dusk Till Dawn. I love, hey Molly, From Dusk Till Dawn. That is one of my favorite movies. I love that movie so much. I love Harvey Keitel. He's such a good actor. Okay.
Let me do this one.
All right, Keith's got another one.
Okay. In the same vein.
Get it? Vein. Mm-hmm.
You better wake up. The world you live in is just a sugar-coated topping. There's another world beneath it. The real world. And if you want to survive it, you better learn to pull the trigger. Hey, how dare you laugh during my performance?
Is that your Mr. T impersonation? I pity the fool.
Pity him. This is my Mr. T impersonation. It'd go like this. You better wake up, fool.
Sucker.
The world you live in is just a sugar-coated topping. There's another world beneath it. Hannibal.
Oh, Anne got it. She got it. Good job. Good job, Blade. Yes, it was Blade. It must have been your Wesley Snipes impersonation that did it.
Well.
Absolutely. You know.
All right. Next one.
Absolutely. Well, Luna and Journaling with Love. I don't know what your name is, but that is really, wow, you got a lot of coloring done for all this Halloween stuff. Well, that one's too easy. That one's too easy too, but this, we'll do an easy one right now.
Okay.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep. That one's pretty easy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he must be on his bed.
Oh, yeah. Yep, Freddy. Yep. Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy. That one was really easy. But I realized not everybody... This is another easy one, too. You want me to do my impersonation?
Only thing is, though, is that could go... That's been said multiple times throughout the years.
Well, it doesn't matter, though. It'll
Different
still
interpretations
work.
of it.
It'll still work. Body snatchers. All right, I'll do this one. You ready?
Okay.
Oh, listen to them, children of the night. What sweet music they make. That was bad, I know. That was really bad. Children of the night. I wouldn't be a very good one of these, would I?
Well, you sounded just like Carol Burnett.
Children of the Corn. Frank, you are just full of it tonight, aren't you? Children of the Corn. You know, I don't like Children of the Corn. It actually disturbs me. So that is a movie that I have seen once and will never watch again.
That's because you live here in the Midwest. You know it's so possible.
I know because I grew up surrounded by cornfields, right? That's exactly what it is.
You're just one breakdown away from being a sacrifice.
I know. Exactly. Somebody has to get that one. Well, yeah. I mean, Detroit area is considered Midwest, but yeah.
Michigan.
Michigan. Yeah. But I was born in the country, so I live in the city now, but I'm a country girl at heart.
She's a country girl, but she had to move to the suburbs before she ever saw her fox.
I did. I never saw a live
Whereas
fox.
I grew up around fox and possums.
We got all kinds of critters here, though. But I think Rita got it. No, we are not. Yeah, because she said the original. Rita said, where'd she go? I saw her comment. The original is my favorite horror film.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's been...
Yeah, so it's Dracula. Obviously, everybody knows that one.
It's a good one, though.
Oh,
I actually read Dracula. The first time I ever read that book was probably 3 or 4 years ago. And that's actually a really it's a creepy book.
All right, here's another one, and I'll do my impersonation. And this one's really easy, especially... They're all going to laugh at you. They're all going to laugh at you. Rita, you got it wrong? How'd you get it wrong? It was my impersonation, wasn't it? Is my Gary Oldman impersonation wasn't spot on enough. Yes, and Carrie, which of course I'm wearing the Carrie shirt, so I had to wear it. Yes. All right, you pick one, and I'll look at the chat. Yeah, we're pretty much a bunch of people that love horror movies around here, I think.
This one's good. I think this one's kind of hard right here, but it was a good movie, though. All right.
Let me see.
This one.
I wouldn't get that one.
We can try it and see.
It's another vampire movie. I'll say that. It's a vampire movie, so that's a clue.
Is it when the creepy guy says it?
Probably.
Okay. That cold ain't the weather. That's death approaching.
You sounded just like him. Oh my gosh, you did. You sounded just like him. Holy mackerel, you sounded just like him.
To recap, that cold ain't the weather. That's death approaching.
Well, that's all right. Not everybody is into horror movies, so it's okay. Can you open this for me?
Mm-hmm.
Before I don't want to start coughing and pass out again. Thank you. Yeah, I got it. I've got my Powerade so that I'll get power, right?
Okay, you already said it was a vampire movie, right?
I did.
Okay.
So that was a vampire movie.
So these vampires in this are very... There's no charm to them.
They're
whatsoever.
mean. They're very mean.
They're very terrifying. So that helps at all.
I Am Legend. That's a good guess, but that's not it. But that's a good one. What's he chewing up back there? Probably chewing his bed apart. Let me think of another clue. It takes place in an area where vampire movies usually don't take place. It's not Queen of the Damned, Rita, but that's a good guess too. I don't know if I've even watched Queen of the Damned. That's the one with the Leah, right? Forks. No, I skipped the Twilight quotes because that's not horror. All right. Should we tell them what it is?
If you want to. Or you can give it one more.
Conan the Barbarian.
We got one more quote or one more clue. And this one, it has a number in the title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A number. A number in the title. My hair is Halloween hair. Turning gray.
Anyone?
Okay. 30 Days of Night.
Yep.
30 Days of Night.
Which is that's a good scary movie.
But it is scary. I don't like those vampires. They freak me out. They are mean and there's no, you can't reason with them. They are stone killers. They're very scary. Very, very scary. Hello, Cuddle Girl. And yeah, see, Jen, that is a good movie, but it's really scary.
That's an easy one.
Yeah?
Here's an easy one. Well,
I don't
actually,
know.
no, it would have to be one in particular. Let me see what he's doing.
All right. We got to make sure because the dog's chewing up some.
Oh, man.
Did he chew up his bed?
Yes.
Dutch.
Bad.
Don't chew. He's been chewing up his bed
Bad.
lately.
Bad. Got to get out the fishing line again.
And sew it up. All right. We got to think of another. All right. Okay. Here's one. This is a funny one. Oh, you got a letter. I got ran over. Helen gets her hair chopped off, and Julie gets a body in her trunk, and you get a letter. That's balanced. So that's an easy one, I think, don't you?
I would have never got that.
You wouldn't have got it?
As many as, well, I haven't seen it a whole lot, but plus that's a sequel.
Oh, that's true. That is a sequel. House of 1,000 Corpses. Dr. Satan! Like that. I love House of 1,000 Corpses. No, that one was... Anyone? I Know What You Did Last Summer, but it was the sequel, so it was I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. But here's an easy one. One thing about living in Santa Carla, I never could stomach all the damn vampires. That's a really easy one, don't you think?
So most of these we've done have been all about vampire movies so far.
I guess they have.
Oh, this one. Wait a minute. Let me see.
Lost Boys. Yes. Lost Boys. Yeah, we got to give you guys some ones that more people can get because it's no fun if you can't get them.
That's a pretty good one.
The second one?
It's a famous one, yeah.
All right, you do that one.
Okay. All right. This is one of my personal favorite horror movies. Okay. When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
I like that one, but I like the remake better, which is a strange thing because usually you don't like Hellraisers. Nope, it's not Hellraisers. Jen's close. Anne's close. Frank got it.
Right on.
No, okay, so here's the thing. Do you guys, it was Dawn of the Dead. So do you like the original Dawn of the Dead or the remake of Dawn of the Dead? Because usually I always prefer originals, but in that I really like the remake of Dawn of the Dead. That was the first time I really remember seeing a movie with fast zombies. Like before that, they were always the slow ones and they were really fast and it freaked me out. I was so like, that whole movie was suspenseful for me. I was on the edge of my seat constantly.
So when that movie came out, it was 1978.
The original one.
And I remember this. My brother, he went with his friend and his friend's dad, and they went to, I think it was a midnight show at Fairlane Mall, which was in Dearborn. And he said it was a scary movie anyways, because this was from Romero's universe, George Romero's universe, where all the zombies like shuffle and shamble or whatever you want to call it. And he said he remembers he was already creeped out by watching the movie, and when he came out of there, like the mall was empty. And if anybody's ever seen the movie, it takes place in a shopping mall. And he said when they were walking out, the only guy around or only people who were around were like the people doing the floors. And he said they were like all moving slowly and shuffling and everything. But also when I was a kid and my parents got me a VCR for my room, the very first VHS tape that I bought was Blade Runner. But the second VHS tape that I got was my brother gave me Dawn of the Dead as a gift. So I'll always remember that was the second movie I ever had on VHS was Dawn of the Dead. It's still a great. I love that movie.
We watched it when we first started dating. We watched that one. I remember.
All right.
World War Z is a good one. What's a VCR? Yes, World War Z is a good one. But you know what, Luna? We like Godzilla. Keith is a huge Godzilla fan. He loves Godzilla. He loves the Alien trilogy or the movies you asked about Alien. Men in Black, not so much, but yeah, definitely.
The first two Aliens, especially Alien and Aliens, those are excellent movies. So
I thought this was interesting, Jen, because I missed your live stream on Friday night, but I watched the replay later on that night while I was coloring, and you said that you and Frank, like I think you said on your first date, you went to see The Exorcism of Emily Rose. So Keith and I watched that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
I know, so that's what I was going to tell her, because he still does this to me all the time. Like at nighttime, we'll be like turning on lights off for bed, and as soon as the house gets completely dark, he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or we'll be like laying in bed, and I'll be almost asleep, and he'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm like, shut up! It scares me. It freaks me out. I hate that part. I hate that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah,
very, very
that's
scary.
Nowhere near as scary as when I'm sound asleep and all of a sudden my wife next to me is going, or she's having a nightmare.
Yeah, so I have really bad nightmares, which is weird. Not from, I don't think it's from scary movies, because I don't have the bad dreams right after we watch a movie, and I don't have bad dreams all the time, but I do get them. And apparently I make these really strange noises.
Yeah, apparently. You're like, like right in my ear, and you're like sound asleep, and I'm going, and you're never supposed to yell at somebody to wake up. So I'm going, Annie baby, wake up. And the whole time she's going,
I know. It's funny. I can't help it. I just get bad dreams sometimes,
Sometimes.
Well, you had a bad dream one time. He was having a nightmare one time, and I didn't know if I should just let him ride it out or if I should wake him up. And so I actually shook his arm, and I swear to you, I thought he was going to punch me out.
That's because I remember when you did that, I had the dream that I had was I was stuck in like it wasn't like as big as like a closet. I was like stuck in there with like one of the most vicious looking werewolves you ever saw. And right when that thing was gonna pounce on me is like I think when you grabbed me. So scared the crap out of me.
Oh, okay. So ready? Oh, and we were talking about The Conjuring, or Jen was talking about The Conjuring on her stream on Friday night, and I just rewatched that again. I watched it the other night because I really like that movie.
That's great.
I like 1 and 2 of The Conjuring a lot. And this is funny, when the first Conjuring was out, I was waiting for it to come out. It hadn't been released yet, but I kept watching the trailer over and over on YouTube, like over and over. And I was like in the room, and it was quiet and everything. Oh, I was in the kitchen. I was sitting at the table, and I was watching it. And that part that they showed where the mom is sitting at the top of those stairs, and those hands come out of the dark and clap together. Right then, our broom fell over. At the exact moment that those hands came out, our broom just went whoosh and hit the kitchen floor. And I swear to you, I probably went through the ceiling. I mean, it scared me so bad. Jen, do you still sleepwalk? Sleepwalking is crazy. Well, it's okay, Luna. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by.
When we went to see The Conjuring 2, remember we were watching it in the movie, and when the nun came out, all of a sudden you go, what did you say? You're like, shut up, Keith. And you like punched me for no reason.
Did I say shut up? Oh, yes, I did not like that. I said like, shut up, and
then punch me.
Well, I didn't mean to punch you. I just get into the movie, the nun is really scary. In in the second Conjuring. When I saw that movie, I got tears in my eyes when that nun came on, that nun figure. And I like the nun movie. I do like it, but I don't think it's as terrifying of a movie as it is in The Conjuring 2, but I still like it. You know what I mean?
Parts of the Nun remind me of those old Hammer horror movies, though.
Yeah, it's good.
Especially the graveyard scene. Oh, that was great.
Oh, we got 20 people in here. That's crazy. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Okay, here's one. I got one. I don't know if anybody's going to get this one. This is an 80s horror movie. Should I give a clue first or just...
No, that's a classic, dude.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum. So that one is pretty easy. That one's pretty easy. So I'll give you time to answer that one. Look at my hair. It's got like a little curl right in the front, and I don't know. Yes, Frank got it. They live. Good job, Frank.
Classic.
Good job, Frank. Good job.
That's a...
Here, you pick another one.
Let's see.
Well, I drink some Gatorade and try not to cough. Yes, Rita. Rowdy Piper. He's so good in that movie. I love that movie. We have a t-shirt from that movie.
Actually, instead of that one, I'm going to do the original one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here's one.
This is a good one, and Keith does it really good, too.
Even a man who is pure in heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon burns bright.
So good. That's why I married you. Because you know stuff.
Because my bad impressions.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
That's classic, though.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Yes, it's the werewolf. Yeah, Wolfman.
Oh,
Wolfman is what it's called.
Yep.
Technically.
Lon Chaney Jr.
The Wolfman.
And Evelyn Ankers.
Is that the gypsy woman, or is that the woman that's the love interest?
The love interest. Yep. Okay.
Do you guys watch Svengoolie? Does anybody else on here watch Svengoolie besides us? I'm just curious. On Saturday nights. Well, I was going to do this one because Jen loves this movie, but these two are ridiculously easy. It's got to be another quote from there that's better.
Uh-huh.
That's too easy. I was going to do one from Hocus Pocus, Jen, but that's too easy. The ones I have here are ridiculously easy.
We, back to the Wolfman, though, with the original Wolfman, we have like an old, it's an old theater called the Redford, and it's been around for decades. And usually, especially around Halloween, they show like old horror movies and stuff. But they have in between shows, they have an organist there that plays, and it just adds to the feeling of it and everything. But the theater is beautiful inside. But we went and saw, what was it? When we went to see the Wolfman, it was also a tribute to, it used to be
Sir
Graves Ghastly, who was like a horror movie host when I was a kid here. And he would come on 1:00 on Saturday afternoons. Was it 1 or 2? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Anyways, it was really, really cool. But Sir Ghastly had passed away years before, but his 3 sons were there. And it was kind of cool meeting those guys and everything. But did we see that was the original Phantom of the Opera? Was it at the same time, or was that a different one?
It was a different time. It might have been that same Halloween season, but it was a different visit.
What was cool about that one, when we'd see, I'm sure if you've ever seen this before, you know that Phantom of the Opera is a silent movie. But when we went to see it, that organist, he played the music throughout the whole movie. It was really, really cool.
Actually, number 93. We have to convince the little housewife out there that the tomato that ate the family pet is not dangerous. All right, Frank, you should know that one then. Which I don't remember that. I've seen that movie before, though. Meat's meat and man's gotta eat. Oh, it's gonna make me cough. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I like that movie.
Where do you see that at?
Oh, Frank mentioned it.
Oh, that is a good one, though. I think my favorite part in that movie is where they're boxing and that little clown like punches the guy's head and it just like goes flying.
Well, it said 145, but they only listed 100. And then it says, hope you enjoyed our huge list of 145 movie quotes.
People can't count anymore.
Excuse me. Sorry I keep coughing, you guys. I don't mean to do that.
I never heard of that one.
I know. That wasn't that great of a list.
Nail Gun Massacre. Well, we're not done yet, are we?
Well, I don't think all of them are that great. So what else can we talk about? I don't know.
Whatever you want to, my darling.
I don't know. I just figured we would be like so witty and clever, and I guess we're not really. To each other we are. But I don't know about
as long as you can entertain yourself.
Right. Why we don't care about everybody else as long as it's us. Tacos. Tacos.
That's a good one. Wolfman's got nards. That's a classic.
You know, I didn't ever see that movie until I think I Married You. I never watched it before. But all right, so has anybody seen any good horror movies lately that they can recommend? We watched one. We saw The Incantation. Is that, or is it just called Incantation?
I think it's just Incantation.
On Netflix. That one was pretty good. It's subtitled. It's not Indonesian. What is it? Taiwanese. And then we watched Moloch, which is also really good. That's subtitled also, but it's slow burn. So if you don't like those, you wouldn't like that. Have you guys ever been to any haunted places? Oh, Crimson. Yeah, well, Jen, we'll get to that in 1 second. But yes, Rita, Crimson Peak. I love Crimson Peak. It is such a beautiful movie. It is so gorgeous. If you are looking for a beautiful horror movie, Crimson Peak is it. The sets, the costumes are so beautiful. They are gorgeous. I love that movie. Keith got me the Blu-ray with like all the special features and everything because I loved watching the section about the costume design and the sets. So beautiful. I absolutely love that movie. Okay, Jen wants to know, have we ever been to any haunted places?
Well, I grew up, I don't say this lightly either. I grew up in a house that was haunted. I mean, I'm 100% convinced that there was something there. But as far as like being to places, we went to what was the bridge called?
Oh, Ghost Trestle.
Ghost Trestle.
We did go to Ghost Trestle. So, where I'm from is out in Lenawee County in Michigan, and it's like farm country. And there was always this like haunted train trestle area that had like, you know, one of those basic urban legend type things about it where they said that there was a train. I don't exactly, the story changes depending on who's telling it, but basically that there was a woman that was killed with a baby. Either they were hit by the train, or some people say there was a farm that caught fire and the woman and the baby lost their lives. You know, it just depends on who's telling the story. But anyways, supposedly if you go to the Ghost Trestle, where the train goes by where this farm was at, where this woman and her baby were killed, that you can hear the woman crying.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
And it's a farm country. There's nothing around. It's fields everywhere, like just fields. And so we went, my stepbrother bought a house at the end of the road that the Ghost Trestle is on. And so I told Keith, well, when we go to his new place, I'll show you Ghost Trestle. So we went there. And we pulled the truck off to the side of the road, and it was in the daytime, you know. But what was weird about it was there was a tree, and the tree was full of crows. And I'm talking completely full of like ravens or crows. It was strange. That was strange to me because I'm telling you, it looked like a Halloween tree. There was one on every branch, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. I'm like, where the heck are all these crows coming from? So we went and we pulled over. We were parked by the tree with all the crows, and you shut the truck off, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then,
I mean, so what you're supposed to, they say that you can hear a woman scream. And what was weird is we had no more than got stopped till I heard a woman scream. And I mean, it wasn't like right there by us, but I heard it like fairly close by. And I'm like, that can't possibly be, you know.
I did not hear it. I didn't hear it.
I was driving. Annie's mom was in the passenger side, and Annie was in the back seat. But we had our windows down.
It was summertime.
Yeah, it was summertime. So we had no more than got stopped, and I heard this woman scream, and I didn't say anything. So I'm like, oh, I you know, it can't possibly be or whatever. So I didn't say anything. And like a minute later, her mom goes, what's supposed to be out here or whatever? And Annie said, well, they say it's haunted, and they say that a woman, you can hear a woman scream. And she said, well, I heard a woman scream just a little bit ago. And I'm like, I heard that too. So
I didn't hear it.
It was weird. So she and I both heard it. But yeah, there were crows everywhere too. And I mean, crows, they make their own shrill noise, but this sounded like a woman screaming, you know. So,
little girl, we went to so many castles, and I think they're all haunted. I lived in a haunted house when I was a kid. And Keith said that he lived in a haunted place too, and he's told me all kinds of stories about the house he lived in, and I definitely think there's something to it because,
well, I mean, it was just like things would happen that were like unsettling, and it would freak you out for so long, and then nothing would happen for a while to the point where you're like, well, you just put it in the back of your mind, and then all of a sudden something else would happen, like maybe months down the road or whatever. But I mean, this was a place I had lived in for 30 years, you know, 30 plus years. And it just, yeah, I'm convinced. I mean, one night I saw, probably when I was about 15 years old, it had to be close to the weekend because I was staying up late. But at that house where the front door was, it was like a little slight, like a hub or whatever, just a little short hallway to the front door. And so there were windows on each side. And it was probably, I don't know, maybe 1:30 in the morning, something like that. And I was getting ready to go to bed. And I had it as a habit. I would always, before I went to bed, I would go and check the front door, you know, and I would look out both of those windows. And our road, which is technically, we only live 2 houses from where that place was at anyways. But our road, the street lights aren't like real close together, but they were fairly bright. And I was getting ready to go to bed, and I went and I checked the door, and I just so happened to look to my left, and there's a kid that's probably 8 or 9 years old riding a bicycle up the road. And I'm like, what the heck is a kid that small doing out this time of night, you know? And then I'm watching him, and all of a sudden, right about the time where he gets to our drive, he turns in, and we have a hedge, or had a hedge down there that ran parallel to the drive. And the first thing I did is, there's something wrong. This kid must need help or whatever. So I went out the front door, and I mean, I went immediately out there, and I couldn't find anything there. And so I'm like, well, did he go in the backyard? So I went, I looked in the backyard. There's no kid. I went out front, looked all around, no kid whatsoever. And I mean, that really, really creeped me out.
Because, tell him why, though, when you found out later.
I didn't find this out immediately, But I'm like, why would a kid be on a bicycle haunting this road, you know? And I had found out, I don't know, it was like years later or whatever, and it was just brought up matter of factly. I was talking about it, and somebody said, well, you know, that such and such, I won't say the name of the business because it was a guy that owned a business or whatever, but he accidentally killed a kid that was on his bicycle with the mirror of his truck when he was riding by. He didn't see it and hit the kid
on the street.
And I'm like, oh, wow, you know, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
But I mean, that's genuine. I looked everywhere around there because I thought it was a kid in distress, and I went out there and I couldn't. I mean, I looked down the road, everything, and there was nothing, you know, so that always stuck with me. But I mean, things would happen throughout the years that I lived there. I was in bed one night and I absolutely felt something grab my foot, you know, or tug at my sheets and everything. Just different things like that. One night I was sitting in the living room, and where I was sitting on the couch, I could see down this little short hallway that we have into the kitchen. And I just so happened to look in the kitchen, and all of a sudden, let me see, like a piece of paper, I see it falls off the table, and it does this. Not just falls off and goes straight to the floor. It does one of these, like a leaf falling out of a tall tree, and it's doing this. And it fell just like that all the way to the ground. And, you know, my natural instinct as well, it's, you know, mail that just slid off the table. I'll just get it in the morning because it was like later on at night. And then I'm thinking, well, no, I'll forget about it. And it could be a bill or something. So I went in there, turned on the lights. There's no piece of paper. There's nothing under the table. But I just plain as day, something as weird as that. I see this just like this going to the ground.
And I don't think this house that we live in right now, I would definitely not say that this house is haunted, but we do hear something a lot. But I don't know what you want to call it. We hear something like a mimic.
It's a mimic.
It's like a mimic. So we will even now, even after Keith's mom is gone, you know, she passed in March, and we will hear her. And it's not like one of us hears her. And sometimes it's just one of us, but it's sometimes both of us hear her. And we'll say, did you hear that? Did you just hear that? You know, because you want to make sure it wasn't just you. But I'm not afraid.
But I mean,
but sometimes I'll hear him, or sometimes he'll hear me. And when
both of my parents were still alive, plain as day, Annie and I were watching TV one night, and I heard my mom like right outside the door here. She goes, Keith?
We both heard her. He paused the movie.
So I paused the movie, and I go, yeah. And then didn't hear anything. And then I go, yeah. And so then I go, well, let me check it out. And I got up, and I mean, it was like right outside the door. It was that close. And I got up, opened the door, the lights are off and everything. I went in there to check on them, and I mean, they're both sound asleep. And I mean, my mom wasn't like calling my name in her sleep or anything. She was like snoring loud and everything. And again, their bedroom was like way
on the other side of
the house, and her voice was right outside the door there. And I can't explain it. I have no idea what it is, but it's just one of those things where when something happens, it happens.
And it doesn't happen all the time. And sometimes you'll go a couple weeks in between them happening. But like when the pandemic first hit, Keith would, when everything was locked down, he would actually go do my mom's grocery shopping and take her groceries to her. So it would take him a couple hours because she lived an hour from us. And I would stay home and make sure I was here with his parents, you know, because they needed somebody here, and they slept a lot. So the house would be very quiet, and I would stay, you know, keep it quiet so that they wouldn't be disturbed. So I'd be reading or looking at my tablet or coloring, and I would hear his mom plain as day call for him. and he wasn't home. Obviously he was helping my mom, and I would hear his mom call for him, and I would get up and I would go into the bedroom to tell her he's not here, and she's sound asleep. It's just strange. I don't know what.
But no,
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
I'll tell you something weird that happened as far as Annie's mom is concerned at the trailer that she lived in is, and I mean, this genuinely creeped me out too, but she was going on a trip. Was she gone for a week or 2 weeks?
She went to Colorado. I don't, it was probably 2 weeks.
Well, the trailer where she lived, it's an hour from here. And we knew that she was going to be gone. She was riding back with a friend, and then she was going to catch a train home. So we knew she was going to be gone for a while, and we weren't going to be able to go out there like every day to check on everything because, like, again, it was an hour away. So she had the back door to her trailer wasn't staying closed, like the lock was messed up or whatever. So I took I took my toolbox out there, and I had a bunch of wire, and I went out there and I wired the door, and then I wired it to like heavy things to like hold it closed and stuff. And then the front door, of course, was locked. And we went out there to check on things. And did I not know that somebody was going to be working on that door or what?
I don't remember.
Anyways, though, we went out there, and I was getting ready to unlock the door, and all of a sudden I heard running through the trailer, and then just like if you've
ever been in a mobile home, you know how loud sounds are, like because everything is thin there. You know what I mean? It's like footsteps or anything on the walls is loud because it's thin, thin materials.
Yeah, and so I'm standing there with the key in the door, and I hear this like running through the trailer, and like the vibrations of again, if you've ever been in a trailer, you know how. And I feel that vibrations, and then I hear that, and just like it stops right there, like right on the other side of the door, just like somebody was in there and got caught in the middle of something. So I heard this, and Annie was like right here, and all of a sudden I go, Annie, get back. I said, there's somebody in this trailer, and she gets back, and I mean, I was like kind of freaked out that I'm going to come across a burglar. And so I did one of those things where I took the key, I unlocked the door, and then I put it like in between my fingers because that was like the only weapon I had. And I'm like in my full Wolverine mode or whatever, But I jerked the door open and went inside. There's nobody in there, nobody in the kitchen. So then I walk in the hallway, and then I can't remember if I did not know that the door was getting worked on or what, but like all that, the metal that I had geared up and everything, the wires and stuff was gone or like piled over the side. And I'm like, Annie, there's somebody in this house, because they must have come through the back or something. But apparently somebody had, one of the handyman in the trailer park there had fixed it, but was nowhere in there. So anyways, here I am going through the house, in slow motion, checking every room, looking under the beds, looking under the beds and everything. And I mean, there was nobody whatsoever. The back door was locked. It had a brand new lock on it. It was locked. There was nobody outside the trailer. There was nobody in the trailer, nobody under the beds or anything. But I mean,
he checked every inch of that place.
Just like
he was convinced there was something in there.
I was that convinced because it was just like somebody, you could hear that, like, somebody coming through the house really fast. And then all of a sudden here's a door unlock and just stops like right on the other side of the door. And I mean, that freaked me out too. And I don't want to, I never considered myself cowardly in the sense, but I'm telling you, when stuff like that happens, it'll sure.
Jen, I would have been like Forrest Gump running out of there. I was running.
But I mean, that's just like at the house where I grew up and everything. It was just stuff. It wouldn't happen like constantly, where you'd be freaked out or anything. It would just happen every once in a while, but it would be when stuff would happen, it would sure throw you off for a while, and then you'd kind of put it to the back of your mind and keep on going. Now, my mom, she down at the other place one time.
See, he's got lots of ghost stories. I don't have that many.
My dad was he had to get up early in the morning to go to Chrysler, and he would get up at, I guess, like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I think he had to be at the plant at like 5, and the moon was like super bright, a big full moon, and she wanted to take a picture of it. And when he was leaving for work, she went and she got a Polaroid camera, and she snapped a photo, but when she snapped it through the back door. And I know how, distortions in glass or whatever can sometimes make images, and it's that whole thing. What do they call it? Not the Rorschach, but where you can, like, your mind picks up stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember what that's called, but I know what you're saying.
But she took a picture, the Polaroid picture of the moon, but so help me, in that back door, I think we counted, there's like 5 faces that reflected in that picture. And that pretty much freaked us out too. So, but we weren't like a bunch of cowards running around, scared to death.
Well, you have to live there. That's the thing. If you have a house, if you grow up in a house, you buy a house and you think there's something there, what are you going to do? You can't just like buy another house. I mean, you have to make do, That's just how it goes.
My dad, he had, stuff that had been told to him throughout his life and everything, and stuff that had happened to him too when he was
Keith's dad grew up in the mountains, and he actually grew up by himself because he lived in the mountains in Tennessee, and his family, they had like a cabin, and when that one at the window at Greenfield Village too. Mm-hmm. But when his dad was they had like a cabin that the whole family lived in. Well, then the family moved into town, and Keith's dad,
to be closer to work. My grandpa was a coal miner, so it was closer to the coal camp.
And Keith's dad stayed behind, so he lived by himself in this cabin in the mountains with no people, and he was like in 8th grade. He was young and he lived alone, so he was really used to being on his own, and it didn't take, it took a lot to scare him. But he had all kinds of really interesting tales about like the witches, like the mountain witches and different stuff. And he would tell about how they would put a dime, a silver dime in the horse's bridle or the mule's bridle, because to ward off the witches, because there was like a witch that lived in the area, and she would come by, and if you were working your field or whatever, that the horse would all of a sudden act up because she had come by, so they would keep like a dime in the bridle.
Yeah, he said he was plowing one time. Now, this is another thing. Anybody can say this about their parents or whatever, but I absolutely 100% say this with all of my being. My dad would not lie about anything. He wouldn't make up stuff or anything. He just wasn't that kind of a person. But he said one time that he was plowing with a mule down there, and he said all of a sudden that mule started acting kind of crazy and trying to get away and everything. And he said that woman that was known to be a witch in that area was like standing over to the side of the field, and whenever she was like laughing or whatever. And then when she finally went away and he got his plowing done, somebody was telling him, well, if you put a silver dime, old dimes used to have silver, and he said if you put a silver dime in a bridle, it wards that stuff off, which is weird because that's like historically silver is one of those things that
wards off evil. So Jen mentioned that, and I guess we don't have to stay on here forever, but Jen mentioned that we caught that ghost at Greenfield Village, so that was really, really weird. We go to Greenfield Village, which if you guys have been following me for a while, you know what it is. It's here in Dearborn, which is like outside of Detroit, and it's a living history museum, but it's one of the like top ones in the country, and it was founded by Henry Ford, and he has these buildings there that have come from all over the world. Well, England, some of them are from like the UK, but in different parts of the United States. And there's one part that's like the museum that's very modern and indoors and everything. Then there's the village. And we like going to the village because it's beautiful. It's picturesque and beautiful. And they have all these different buildings and stuff that you can go in, and we don't always go in the buildings now because we're used to them, but there's one called the Firestone Farm, and it's actually a working farm. So they have people there that wear the period clothing, they cook food, they work the field, they take care of the animals and the livestock, they butcher out like like a cow, they gather the eggs, they cook.
Not while you're watching.
Yeah, no, but I mean they do this stuff. It's like a living museum. And there's actually, interesting side note to coloring, if you go on Dover Publishing or look even on Amazon, Dover has a Greenfield Village coloring book, and I think it's called A Day in the Life of Greenfield Village or Firestone Farm or something like that. But anyways, Firestone Farm is reputed to be one of the most haunted buildings in the village. Now, the people that run the village will not talk about any kind of haunted activity. They are like strictly forbidden to talk about it because they don't want anything like that. So they don't let ghost hunters in. They don't let any paranormal investigators in. You can't do EVPs in there. If you get caught, they probably run you out. They're very, very, very serious about maintaining like the dignity and preserving the historical stuff. It's all about respect. So they don't indulge you in any kind of paranormal chat. But people that used to work there, there's like a website where they tell stories about what used to happen. And Firestone Farm is one of the ones, the buildings that they always talk about paranormal activity. On the second floor, that people say they see Sally Firestone, which was like the matriarch of the Firestone family, that they see her a lot. They hear her. They've seen her coming down the stairs, like women that have worked in the kitchen preparing food and stuff like that. And everything. So Keith and I went there one day, and I had my coloring book, and I thought it would be fun to take my picture with the coloring book of the Firestone Farm outside of the Firestone Farm. So he takes a couple with his phone. No, with the camera.
We're going to put up with the camera.
With the digital camera.
And then I had my phone in my back pocket. Or your phone or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever I used to upload to Instagram.
Yeah.
And phone. I said, well, here, let me get one with this one so I can upload it to Instagram. So I mean, this was like, so from snapping the photos with the regular one to long enough for me to reach in and grab my phone and snap it. That's how much time passed.
So in the pictures, I'm on the ground outside the fence, and you can see the second floor window behind me has a filmy white curtain hanging down, and the curtain is closed. In the pictures, some of the pictures that he took, the first few. And then all of a sudden, in the last one, I think it's the last.
The one with my phone.
It's the last, yeah, the one he took with his phone. The curtain is moved to the side, and you can see clearly the silhouette of a woman. I mean, she's holding the curtain to the side, but she is translucent. She is not one of the reenactors. She is not a solid figure. She is translucent, 100%. And it's not a reflection because it's a second floor window. So it's nobody that was outside on the ground.
Like two women in a way.
Yeah, it does look like two women. And so he had put the pictures on his Instagram, and then he comes in and he said to me, look at these pictures, and do you see something? And I'm like, holy crap. I was like, oh my gosh. So then even one of our news stations was doing Halloween scary stories, and they wanted you to submit stuff, and I tagged one of them, and it's Simon Chowdhury. That was who it was. I tagged her in it, and she was like, that's so scary, but it doesn't, Greenfield Village does not want anybody to like have stuff like that circulating and everything, but you can clearly see. So that's on actually my Instagram and Keith's both.
But the thing is we weren't, when we took the pictures, we weren't looking for a ghost. This is,
it was a total accident.
The picture is of Annie holding her coloring book, and the window just so happens to be back here,
That is weird. That was weird.
I'm like,
that's to me one of the clearest ghost pictures I've ever seen.
I think
before.
I was like, Annie, I think I took a picture of a ghost.
He was really shocked, We didn't mean to. We weren't. That wasn't what we were looking for.
It's for sure weird though.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
But I mean, the thing is, like a lot of times people tell stuff and it's like outlandish, everything. Every time somebody tells something, sometimes you got to roll your eyes. But the thing is when you see stuff yourself, every so often you have to think, well, maybe there is a possibility these people saw something, and everything. Because I mean, I can never prove it to somebody that I saw something, but stuff actually I encountered it here and there, and it's yeah, the other place that I lived at, there was just stuff throughout my life would happen. It was just weird. I mean, sometimes it would be downright scary and everything. Now, I will tell you one that's kind of funny though. When I was a kid, I was probably, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years old, and I call him the old man, but now that I look back, he probably wasn't too much older than I am now. But anyways, though, his name was Red, and he would always, whenever he would see me out in the yard or something, he would call to me, and I'd go over there and on the porch and talk with him and everything. Well, he had passed away, and I was out there playing one day, and all of a sudden I hear Keith, and I'm like, and I hear Keith, and it scared the daylights out of me, and I ran in the house, and I'm like, Dad, the ghost of Red is calling me outside like that. And he's like, what? And he goes, the ghost of Red is calling me. And my dad, he was there when Red passed away. He was with him when he called the ambulance and everything. He goes, well, let's go see what you're talking about. And we're standing out there, and I hear Keith, and all of a sudden my dad's standing behind me, and I can feel it. When he would laugh, he would like jiggle, like you hear about Santa Claus, a bowl full of jelly. My dad was standing there, and I could feel him moving because he's laughing. He goes, come here. He goes, here, I want to show you. So we went out towards the back of the garden, and I'm hearing it again. Keith. And he goes, now listen. And he goes, Keith, over there in those woods, he goes, that's machinery moving. And he's like, he's pointing it out to me where it was coming from. So I listened to it again, and sure enough, there's that machine that's going, Keith, whatever they were doing. But so,
then you're always like slightly disappointed that it really wasn't a ghost. I mean, you get scared, but
now on the flip side of that, when I was a grown man down at that house, something called my name one night and it scared the crap out of me. And I mean, I was shaking for like a day and a half, because it's bad enough when you hear a noise, but when you hear something call your name, call you by name,
that's kind of creepy, definitely.
And it was just like every type of scary ghost that you can ever think of. That's what it sounded like when it called my name. So
John says, I believe that some people almost attract ghostly activity, like when Jay and Grant were on. Grant always seemed to have activity happen when he was around. Seems like Keith has that. He might be. You know what's weird about Keith too is animals love him. Like he has an almost supernatural. I'm serious. He's it's weird. Like animals like wild animals or people's pets, all animals and children are like gravitate towards him. So I don't know if he has something like he exudes some kind of aura or something, that he's just like a peaceful natured person or what, but that would not surprise me like at all. I know what I was going to say though, when you said that about Jane Grant, that reminded me, you were talking about, somebody mentioned that Demon House movie in your live stream the other night, John. And I really like that movie. So it's on Discovery Plus, I think. I'm pretty sure it's on Discovery Plus. I have it anyways, but
it might even be on Tubi. I saw it on something not long ago. It was listed.
But I'm pretty sure it's on Discovery Plus because of Ghost Adventures and all that being on there. But that movie is really good. And I personally find that movie a little disturbing. Yeah, it's a documentary. No. I find that movie slightly disturbing. Like, I think it's because the Ghost Adventures, you see Zach and them, and they act so foolish. But then I watched that movie and I was expecting it to be like an extended version of a Ghost Adventures episode. And it wasn't like that at all. It's not like that at all. It's a lot darker. And the content is a more realistic, it's not goofy. Like,
one of the things that I find
so
totally
definitely watch it. It's definitely worth, I like it. It's good.
that house is in Indiana. Is that where it's at?
Gary, Indiana, I
Yeah.
think it was in.
Well, one of the crazy things about it is he buys that house, but when he gets there, there's what do you call them? Squatters living in it, and he actually pays them to get out so they can film the documentary. And I'm like, man, that's your house, and you got to pay these people to leave. And I was like, man, that's crazy.
But I think it's definitely a good movie, especially if you like that darker stuff. But it's not like a Ghost Adventures movie or episode. It's not goofy like they usually are.
Yeah, it is pretty entertaining. But yeah, it definitely gets kind of dark towards the end of it.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's content that you could watch in front of the kids. I don't know. I guess that would just depend on each family, but some of it's a little bit towards the end gets a little bit much, I think. So
scary stuff.
I know we're gonna get burnt out before Halloween. So this is what Keith does. Usually he gets like really, really into all the horror stuff, which we're always in all year long, but he gets really, really into it. And then by the time Halloween comes, he's burnt out. And
I go through cycles though.
Morbius. Oh, hey Aquaman, I didn't know you were in here. Hello.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Nope, we haven't watched that one. Is that the one with Jared Leto?
Yeah.
He gives me the creeps anyways, just on his own. I think there's something odd about him.
What's the name of that?
Dutch scared me. He just climbed on the bed and it like startled me.
What was that movie with him and Denzel Washington? It was actually a pretty decent.
Where he's this?
Nah, you don't want to.
I can't remember the name of it. Did we?
Well, you can look it up. Anyways, it's got Jared Leto and Denzel Washington in it, and
I forgot the name of that one.
It's actually a pretty decent movie. It's not a horror movie.
It's like a thriller.
Yeah, thriller and everything. So, and at the end of it, definitely it's one of those makes you think type things.
Makes you think.
But I go through cycles. I mean, I love scary movies, just about any time of the year and everything. But I'm a big sci-fi fan, so I go through science fiction. I go through then I'll go through westerns, and then
give me that tablet. I'm gonna look that up and see if that's the one I'm thinking of.
But I just go through cycles. But the thing is, I always go back around to it and everything.
Yeah, and then I have to put
superheroes
limitations on them.
Yeah,
I'm like, you're not allowed to watch any scary movies today because you're gonna burn yourself out. Yeah,
that's it.
The Little Things, John. That's what it is.
Yep, The Little Things. So that's actually pretty decent.
You know what? And speaking of Denzel, I look like this because I got that light going. What's that one with Denzel that I like? Fallen.
Oh yeah.
That's a good movie. That's creepy though. Definitely creepy.
You want my glasses?
I just took mine off.
I'm wearing glasses on top of my head.
I forgot. I got my glasses right here. I don't have to do this. Anyways. Well, I guess we've been on for an hour and a half about, so
really?
Yeah. Well, if you don't count the time where you accidentally closed us out.
Well, that only took 20 minutes.
That's okay, Papa. You didn't mean to. I didn't know how to do it either. I didn't know how to do it.
I've done that plenty of times, that kind of thing.
Okay, so, all right. The Amityville Horror, the original one, Jen? Oh, with Ryan Reynolds. I went to the theater and saw that one. I really like that movie. I don't put it in with... To me, it's like not an Amityville movie, though. Hey, Nikki.
It's a remake.
I know it's a remake, but I don't really consider it like Amityville canon or anything, which there really isn't any such thing. But I don't know. I kind of separate it because it's so, not based on reality. like the original one is, right? Or whatever. But that one is really, it's dark too. I mean, that one's dark. I went and seen that at the theater though. That one's good. But that little girl is really creepy in it. The little girl. Yeah.
What was the name of the pig?
Jody.
Yeah. Used to, when I was a little boy and my brother, there was like 6.5 years between us. And sometimes he would be able to go see.
Hi, Rita.
There'd be movies that he would be able to go to, say with, R-rated or whatever, that he would see with his friends and his friends' parents or whatever. And then if I couldn't see it, even though I was little, he would come home and he would tell me all about it. And I remember Amityville Horror was one of those. And he came home, and one of the things that he kept emphasizing, he was like, and there's this demonic pig in a rocking chair in the window. And I'm like, but one of my favorite movies of all time is The Fog, the John Carpenter's The Fog, not the remake, never the remake, but the original Fog. And I used to love to read and stuff anyways, but I could never go see that because I wasn't old enough. And he went and saw it, and he came home and he like told me all about it. And then I got my hands on a paperback of the adaptation, and I read that and I loved it and stuff. But I used to love that, man. He'd go see a movie and then he'd come in, and if I wasn't able to see it, he'd still like tell me all about it. It'd be in my mind, I could see the movie anyways.
So Aquaman says Fright Night. Yes, both of them. Like Fright Night the original and Fright Night remake with Colin Farrell.
Well, Fright Night sequel was really good too.
Yeah, but that was different too. But I liked that one. It's got that one guy in it, Uncle Rico. Is Uncle Rico in that?
Yeah, there's a werewolf. He's actually played.
I don't know that guy's name. So you know, like when you know an actor,
werewolf,
but you don't know their name, so you just like pick a character that they played and call them that.
He was a werewolf in the Monster Squad. He was a werewolf in Fright Night. He was probably a werewolf in something else too.
Yeah, Uncle Rico.
Man,
when he says, "I bet I could throw football over the mountain."
I love Uncle Rico. I love everything about Napoleon Dynamite.
Mm-hmm. But I love that. Oh, here comes somebody again. I love that Fright Night.
Yeah, there goes my glasses.
Fright Night remake. Can you get him?
Yeah.
With Colin Farrell. He is really, really scary in that movie.
David Tennant's really good in that.
Oh yeah. He is really good. That's an excellent movie. I love that movie. I love it. And Anton Yelchin. That's so sad about him, passing away so early in life, but yeah, that remake is a really good, and I like the original one too with Roddy McDowall, and it's just good, all out good.
What's cool though about that one too is Roddy McDowall. I grew up watching horror movie hosts. To this day, I love horror movie hosts. If anybody gets the Monster Channel on the Roku, there's always horror movie hosts on there hosting, whatever public domain movie. But Roddy McDowall, that's like held a special place in my heart because he plays that horror movie host.
I meant to bring that up actually, so I'm glad you did, because if you guys like old or bad B movies, horror movies,
so bad they're good,
or horror hosts, like that host scary movies, there is a whole Roku channel that does that. So it's called the Monster Channel, or is it Eerie Late Night? Which do you have to look under to find it?
I think you have to find it under Eerie Late Night, EERIE.
I can put it in the description section.
But if you don't have Roku, and sometimes it's hard to pick up on Roku, I got in there in that sweet spot where I could.
It's the ghost.
Where I could pick it up and everything. But you can also watch it on the monsterchannel.com. So
yeah, it's fun. I mean, there's
some of the hosts.
Yeah, some of them aren't that great, but some of them are really good. Yeah. So, Nikki, what time is it? I'm always fascinated by that. What time is it there? Since you said you couldn't sleep and you saw that we were on, you have to let us know. All right. So, Aquaman says Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm not a Nightmare on Elm Street fan.
I like Nightmare on Elm Street.
I'm not a big Nightmare on Elm Street fan. I could leave those movies. I'd be content if I never watched them ever.
I like them. I mean,
2 minutes to midnight. Oh, Nikki says 1:59. Interesting.
That is a pretty good time. So it's 8:57 here.
But yeah, so Nightmare on Elm Street, not my thing. Freddy, the first one and second one, okay. I also like New Nightmare. That one was pretty good. But the rest of them, not a fan.
Well,
I don't think they're funny. I just don't like them.
Well, the first two, he's definitely more sinister. And then he becomes more like comic relief.
And I don't like that. And gross. I don't like it when it's gross either. Bram Stoker's Dracula, big thumbs up on that one. The Entity, Nikki says The Entity, very disturbing. I haven't watched that in quite a while. It's been a long time, but that one's pretty disturbing. Based on a true story, very, very good. The Ring, yes, big thumbs up on The Ring.
Actually,
I like that one quite a bit.
Annie had got me this book where it's like dots and spirals, and I had just started using it, and you have no idea when you're doing it, when you're filling it in with the pencil or whatever, you have no idea what the picture is going to be. And the first one I did was Frankenstein. He shows up. And then the second one, and I worked at it, and it turned out to be Samara. Is that her name?
Yeah.
From The Ring.
I think Nikki has that book.
Oh, okay.
The one that's like called Horror Nightmare Creatures or something. Nikki, the one that's the spirals that you color in. I think she's posted that one before. Carrie. Yes, on Carrie. Although I will say, I think Carrie is very sad. That movie makes me really sad. The remake is good.
I liked it.
The remake, we saw the remake in a haunted theater. Actually, we did. We went to see it. We had gone to Marshall, Michigan, to go on a ghost tour, and we were there. We just kind of bummed around the town in the day, and then the ghost tour was in the evening, and so we had time to kill in the afternoon. We went in their old. It was a really old theater, and they were showing
one screen or two. I mean, it's really
two.
Okay,
it was
two
screens. And they were showing the remake of Carrie. And so we watched it, and then when we went on the ghost tour later on that night, they said that the theater was haunted. We were like, oh, cool. Let's see. Michael Myers, for me, I can watch them over and over. Yeah, I always like Halloween. Halloween is good. Halloween, I'm pretty good with all of them, although I'm not crazy about, is it 4? The one with Paul Rudd.
No, that's 6.
Okay.
Curse of Michael Myers.
And is that the one that has the lady and her dad's abusive, the girl?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't like that one, but the
it's
rest
like where
they
were building it all up, like the cult Samhain.
Oh, shoot! Talk about being scared.
Did you hear that voice?
My mom just scared the daylights on me. What you need, Mom?
I don't need anything. I guess I wonder where everybody was.
Oh, we're down here doing a live on the computer. Do you need something?
No, I don't need anything.
Okay. Well, I'll be back up in just a little while. We're getting ready to get off there in just a little bit anyways.
I'll just go read one of my books.
Okay. All right. How funny is that? Did you hear the voice of that old woman that just about jumped me out of my skin? Holy cats.
So here's something as far as Michael Myers is concerned that I thought was kind of funny and interesting. So if I'm sure that most of you that are fans of the Halloween franchise and Michael Myers, you know that the Shape, which is what they used to call Michael Myers all the time, is his mask is William Shatner's face. It was a Don Post Star Trek mask, and then spray painted white and everything, and that was the face of the Shape. Well, last night we were watching on Svengoolie, who's an awesome horror host. He was showing The Devil's Reign, and it starred William Shatner. And there's a part in the movie where William Shatner's eyes are suddenly gone,
like
and his
sucked
head,
out of his
they're
head.
just black, and it's his face, and it's black. And I thought it was ironic that the Shape is William Shatner's face, but last night William Shatner's face looked like the Shape mask when he's walking around without any eyes, and it's just like black sockets and everything. Kind of creepy. Yeah. That movie was all over the place, so
it was very melty at the end. There's a lot of melting.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else. That was funny. Yeah, that was funny, you guys. It wasn't funny to me because it scared the crap out of me. Let's see. Dark Days. Dark Days? I don't know if I know that one. Do you know Dark Days? That doesn't sound familiar to me.
Sounds like a good one, though.
30 Days of Night. We covered that earlier. Very scary. I find those vampires very disturbing in that movie. They really, really bother me because they're super, super, super vicious, like horribly rotten vampires. Oh, hey, Bernadette. I didn't know you were in here either. Candyman. Candyman, yes, I'm a Candyman fan. I have not seen the remake though, like the new one. I haven't seen it.
We watched the first one not too terribly long ago.
Here's something interesting about Candyman is I'd seen it a long time ago, and then Keith and I'd say within the past 2 years, it's after we got Shudder, I think. So it's been, within the past year or two, I said, let's watch Candyman again. And in my mind, I had it kind of like a fun, scary movie. Not fun. That movie is not fun at all. That movie is dark and really disturbing. Like Candyman is really disturbing. I hate movies where the wife is being gaslighted by her husband. That freaks me out. What did we watch shortly after we got married? I read The Stepford Wives. Now, I'd seen the original movie and I'd seen the ridiculous movie with Nicole Kidman, but I'd never read the book. And I read The Stepford Wives, and we were newlyweds. And you guys, it bothered me a lot. It seriously disturbed me because I'm so in love with this husband, and he's like my person in the whole world that I come to always have my best interests, always have my back, to always take care of me. And the idea that your husband would sell you out and make you become an animatronic nothing is horrifying to me. That just horrified me, didn't it? I was really disturbed by that.
I think it's disturbing that you think that I have that much technical prowess that
that you could build the ultimate robot army, right? I don't know. So that's by Ira Levin. Who also
I accidentally shut the thing off earlier. Do you think I got enough technical skill to build a android replica?
That's so funny. That's funny. Yeah, but Ira Levin also wrote Rosemary's Baby, and that's one of my favorites. Rosemary's Baby is really favorite.
That's a disturbing.
Shaun of the Dead. They are big Shaun of the Dead fans. Yeah. Keith really likes that one too. This is the end. Did we see this?
No, I haven't seen that one. Dutch.
The Blair Witch scared the crap. Blair Witch was very scary. I thought it was very, very scary. The first one, I liked it a lot. When it very first came out, and at that time they were saying it was only going to show at independent theaters. You weren't going to be able to see it. At that time, I lived way out in the boonies where I'm from, and I drove with my friends all the way to Detroit, well, Royal Oak, but basically Detroit, to see it. And then we drove all the way back home. And then the next week it was in our local theater. I was like, are you kidding me? But yeah, I always liked Blair Witch. I like the Blair Witch Book of Shadows movie too. That movie gets a lot of hate, but I like it. I enjoy it. It's genuinely creepy.
I actually have a Blair Witch video game that I bought a while back because it was on sale, and I haven't played it yet, but I was wanting to play it when Halloween season comes along here. So
From Hell. Yes, that's a good one too. We were just talking about that. Or was I talking about that?
Johnny Depp.
Yeah. Or was I talking about Mary Riley? That's what I was talking about. Mary Riley. That's one with Julia Roberts. But yeah, From Hell is a really good one. Devil's Rejects.
I like House of a Thousand Corpses. I think that
Dr. Satan. I always have to say that every time.
I think that was Rob Zombie's opus. I don't know. But it's been years. I've only seen it one time, The Devil's Rejects, and we saw it at the theater, and that was when it first came out. So it's been a long, long time. But I remember I didn't like it nowhere near as much as House of a Thousand Corpses. House of a Thousand Corpses is just that.
It's fun.
It's that absolute exploitation, total insanity, and terrifying all at the same time.
Yeah, as a general rule, I am not a fan of Rob Zombie horror movies. I would like to like them, but I can't. I can't do it. With the exception of House of a Thousand Corpses. I do not like his Halloween. I definitely do not like his Halloween 2. I do not like 31. 31's so bad it made me mad. Oh, and let's talk about Lords of Salem. I was so mad about Lords of Salem. I wanted that movie. It was about witches. I love witches. Everybody knows that's like my favorite content. And I was so disappointment when there's like Satan is supposed to be like this little midget and he's got like all these wieners coming out of him. And I'm like, why does he have so many wieners? I don't understand the whole thing. I just didn't get it at all. It did not make sense to me. The Mummy with Brendan Fraser.
I love that. That's one of my absolute favorite movies is The Mummy. I seriously, when I went to, now I know Jaws, I know I put it on my Facebook not long ago that Jaws, I honestly believe is the perfect movie. Everything about it. But when I went to see The Mummy, I went with my brother and my nephew to see it. And I was looking forward to seeing it. But when I came out of there, I was just like, that's the greatest movie I've ever seen. Because it had everything that I wanted in it. It had action, comedy, horror. I mean, I love The Mummy anyways with Boris Karloff and that. But when they could take that creature and just completely add the special effects and make it into something all new and exciting.
Didn't you walk 20 blocks in Los Angeles to see that movie?
No, that was The Mummy 2.
Oh.
I was in 2001, I was in California on vacation, and that movie came out, and we were in San Francisco, and I thought
you were in LA.
I did not want to drive, because when we drove in, we rented a car. And to me, that traffic was insane, and I didn't want to drive a car to get it out of the parking garage to go to the movie theater where I didn't really know where it was at and everything to drive it. So I found out where it was at in the paper, and I walked, and it was 18 blocks, but it was totally worth it.
That's a long walk.
The original Mummy with Brendan Fraser, they can't top that one, but I love the characters in that. Everything about it. I love that movie.
Okay. I like these when you just fire them off to us. Nothing But Trouble, John Candy. Is that the one with Dan Aykroyd too? Or am I?
Yeah, is he the judge in it? That's been a long
time.
And
Demi Moore? Is Demi Moore in that one too?
I think so.
I'm not sure.
That's one I know I've seen it, but it's been years since I've seen it.
I don't know that one. Salem's Lot. I love Salem's Lot. Oh my gosh. So good. That's my favorite Stephen King book ever.
That's a genuinely
I love that movie. I love that book.
Scary.
I love Salem's Lot.
Salem's Lot was one of them, though. That was used to when I was a kid, they would come out every once in a while with a made-for-TV movie that they would show, and every once in a while they were really, really good. And I don't know, was Salem's Lot was made for TV, wasn't it? And that was a genuinely scary movie.
And it's still scary. It's not like you watched it in the 70s, because that's when it came out, right? 7 or 80.
Yeah, no, it was 1970.
79, something like that. It was scary then, but it still holds up. So some things, like as time goes on, you look back on them and like that they're cheesy, but that holds up really, really good. You know what's another movie I just thought of? This is an old one, and I never heard of it, or I had heard of it, but I didn't really know what it was about. Dead Calm. Is that the name of it? No.
Was Sam Neill?
No. I'm thinking the one we watched on Joe Bob.
Dead and Buried.
Dead and Buried. Dead and Buried. Have you guys seen that movie? So it's from what, the 80s, 90s, early 90s?
It was like 1980, something like that.
Okay. So it's older.
81.
I had never seen it before, but I can remember going to the video store and seeing it available on VHS. And the cover art, I thought for some reason that it was like a movie about outer space. I don't know why I thought that. Excuse me, but I did. So I never watched it. Well, we watched Joe Bob on Shudder, and he hosted that movie one night. And we watched it, of course. And that movie really freaked me out. It has the grandpa from Willy Wonka in it. And that movie is really scary, you guys. To me, I found it really, really scary. But I love those kind of movies. Like, they're one of my favorite types of movies, like where you're paranoid. Like, you don't know who's in on it. You know, you're always suspicious of all the people around you. And that movie is definitely one of those types of movies. And it is so, so, so good. I love that. I highly recommend Dead and Buried. Highly recommend it. It's really, really good. Let's see. What about a classic? Rebecca. Rebecca's good. I don't know how many I've seen of it. I've seen, I think, 2 or 3 different versions.
We have about 4. I think we have 3 or 4 adaptations.
Did I ever watch the one on Netflix? Didn't they put a newer one on Netflix?
Yeah, it was the one with the guy that wanted to eat.
Oh, Armie Hammer.
Yeah,
Armie Hammer. Did I watch it? I wonder
Armie
if that's
Hammer
still
started showing cannibalistic.
I wonder if they took it off.
I don't know. That was pretty decent though.
I love Rebecca. That's one of my favorite books ever. Last night I dreamt I went to Manderley again. I love that book. We were just talking about that book the other night. This is me randomly before bed. I'm laying in bed. Keith's like, "Do you need me to do anything before I turn off the light?" I said, "Yes. I need you to look up why it's the most common theory that the narrator in Rebecca is never named. Like, why is she never named? They just call her Mrs. De Winter. Can you look that up?" So these are things I think about right before sleep at like 1 a.m. on a Tuesday evening or whatever. That's just how I am. American Werewolf in London.
Classic. Absolutely classic. Yeah.
That's a good one.
That was too, I mean, it still stands up to this day, but that was another one of those movies that that and The Howling are 2 that just took special effects in movies, like blew everything else away when David Naughton starts going through his transformation for the first time, and he's stretching, and he's like in, you know, a lot of these movies they make the transition from human to werewolf, you know, look pretty easy and painless. And he's like screaming, you know, he's absolutely miserable as his limbs are stretching and everything. But the werewolf itself is just, it's fantastic looking. And then the dream sequences he have where the Nazi wolves or whatever you want to call it.
When I first saw that movie, that they come through the room really fast. That was a good jump scare. It really, really scared me a lot. Those Nazi guys really scared me.
Yeah. I got a really sweet
Fright Rags shirt.
Yeah. Fright Rags, American Werewolf.
The shirt's Fright Rags. We're big Fright Rags people. Let's see. What is that about Rebecca? Rebecca is a book about, it's by Daphne du Maurier, and it is about a young woman who marries an older man. She meets him while she's on vacation, and he's very wealthy, and he takes her back to his estate, and she's very alone and very isolated, and she is living under the shadow of his dead wife.
Whose name
is Rebecca. That's who Rebecca is. And I don't want to say any more than that and give anything away. But Rebecca looms over the entire estate, and Rebecca overshadows everything.
And her life is made kind of miserable.
Yes. And her life is miserable because of Rebecca.
Yeah.
So it's an excellent book. I would read the book, but there's a million different, well, maybe not a million, but there's several different adaptations of it. It's wonderful.
But it's not a horror at all.
Yeah, it's definitely got a little bit of suspense and thriller and creepiness about it. But I would not classify it as horror. Gothic, maybe. I would say it's more gothic.
But not horror.
Yeah, definitely gothic. Jaws, yes. The Birds, yes. Love The Birds. I love The Birds. It's one of my favorite movies anyways. I love the interaction between Mitch and his mother, and like that whole, it's so weird to me, and I realize it's in another era, and so the language is different than now, but how he calls his mother darling all the time, to me that seems so strange. But the mother is like super, like overly possessive of him, but I think it's because she's a widow and she's afraid of being alone, and so she's very threatened by Tippi Hedren. And really, I just love that movie. Really, really good. Really, really good. Children of the Corn. I didn't like that movie. I've only watched it one time. I found that the beginning of it with the parents, disturbing to me. Not a big fan of that one. So that's kind of fun. We should have just done this all along. Just had people name off movies. Boom, boom, boom. And we give a rapid review, like a 2-second review. That was kind of fun.
You know what's one of my favorites is Sleepy Hollow by Tim Burton.
Oh yeah.
That's another one of those movies that I never get tired of. I can watch it over and over again. But I love the story, the legend of Sleepy Hollow. But Tim Burton, that was like his love letter to Hammer horror films. If you've ever watched Hammer horror, it's like telling the classics that Universal came out with, and plus, but then adding blood and buxom beauties, and they get the whole period piece, which
that's beautiful.
I love.
They're
movies.
so visually stunning.
I love period piece movies, anyways, but Hammer is one of those where they get everything pretty much right. But Sleepy Hollow is it's excellent movie. Johnny Depp is Ichabod Crane, and if you've ever read the book Legend of Sleepy Hollow, you know that Ichabod Crane is like a big coward, and they do a really good job of Johnny Depp and that character, but he's not a school teacher, but he's still a big coward. But as the movie goes on, he like tries to find his courage.
I love the costumes.
It's got a really great cast. But visually,
it's
stunning.
Like Crimson Peak, and I just love it. It's so pretty.
And they actually give the Headless Horseman a background, and it's great. I mean, I can't recommend that one enough. I love that movie. Okay,
Amelia is really into Trick or Treat. Sam. Yes, Trick or Treat's a good one. I like that. I like anthologies like Trick or Treat. I like the way they come together.
Yeah, they did a really great job of tying the stories together, like where they seamlessly. But yeah, that's a really good one. Now, the same person that did Trick or Treat did Krampus.
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, when we were on our honeymoon, Trick or Treat was it getting released or about to be released, or had just been released or something like that? Because we went to Horribles, which is, it's not there anymore, but it was a store in Chicago. That was one of the places that we wanted to stop at on our honeymoon. It's like a horror store full of movies and merchandise and stuff like that. And so, hey, Emilio, hey. He's like, hello. It was full of horror movies and horror stuff, and we were going to Wisconsin, and we stopped in Chicago, and we went to Horribles, and they were playing that movie in the store while we were there. Remember? So it must have been brand new, or it had never gotten a theater release. Was that it? And it was supposed to come to theaters, and it went direct to DVD or something like that. But it was on when we were in the store, and that was pretty cool.
Well, we did get to when we were up in Milwaukee. It was Milwaukee, wasn't it? Where we went and saw Zombieland.
Yes.
That was good.
Yeah, we saw Zombieland on our honeymoon. We were at the... Yeah. And then we got food poisoning.
Right.
The Changeling.
Oh, that's
love The Changeling. So
George
if
C.
you
Scott.
are looking for a good ghost story, it's kind of a slow burn. If you need action or fast paced, it's not for you. But it's George C. Scott. When is it? 70s? Probably.
Maybe 1980.
It's a very good ghost story. Super creepy. Super, super, super creepy. Love The Changeling. That's a good one. Rosemary's Baby. Yes. One of my personal favorites. And I love the book and I love the movie.
Well, that miniseries wasn't bad either.
With Zoe Saldana. Yeah, that was good too. They did a miniseries not long ago. Well, a few years ago or whatever. But I love Rosemary's Baby. It's another one of those ones. Is who's in on it? Everybody's in on it, and gaslighting the wife. I think Ira Levin must have had a thing about that, like women. But he wrote those during like the 60s, I think, and the women's rights movement was fresh, and the guy, the husband's always the bad guy in those movies. Keith,
husband is always the bad guy.
Yeah, I really like Rosemary's Baby a lot. I like that one. Mia Farrow was excellent in that movie. And I'm not really a Mia Farrow fan per se, but she was excellent in that movie. So, so, so good. It's a wonderful movie.
Her sister, it surprised me because one of my now here's as much as I love Dawn of the Dead, it's hard to believe I might say this, but the movie Zombie, Lucio Fulci Zombie, I think might be slightly better. I love that one. I love Dawn of the Dead, but Zombie, I watched it again not too long ago, is a super creepy zombie flick. But Tia Farrow, is it Tia or Tisa Farrow?
Tisa.
Tisa
I think
Farrow
it's Tisa.
is in that movie, and that was is Mia's sister, and she only made like a couple of horror flicks, and then she got out of it. But Zombie, and some places it's called Zombie 2 because over in Italy they tried to release it as a sequel to Dawn of the Dead, but it is just the music, everything about it is just. That is such a great horror flick.
We could do a whole nother live on our Italian zombie, like Italian horror movies. It's like a whole other topic to get into. Not really a horror movie, but a good creepy movie is. I love What Lies Beneath. You know what? I think that's a horror movie. I would definitely classify that as a horror movie. That's a good one. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. That's a good one. And you know what's another movie that's kind of like that is this Stir of Echoes.
Oh, Stir of Echoes.
Excuse me. That's a lot like What Lies Beneath.
Kevin Bacon.
I might have to close it up. I'm starting to get pretty. My bronchitis is kicking in.
I gotta sew the dog's bed. I had to sew it other day. Tore a whole bunch of the stuffing out of it. And generally, I would say, well, we just throw it away and get him another one. But this was kind of a pricey dog bed.
It's a Serta.
Other day I had to take fishing line and sew up one whole corner of it. And then when I last looked, it looked like there was a pretty good sized hole in it again. And he's got all the stuff that pulled out of it. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the night, probably.
Yeah, we should try to do these like once a month or something.
That was fun.
It was fun, yeah, because there's a lot, and maybe next time we won't accidentally close it out, and we can do the whole thing.
Maybe next time you won't let me touch the computer.
You can touch the computer.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it, though. It's been fun.
Yeah, it has been fun. So, okay, everybody remember that this whole week is Summer Colorween, and if you hadn't gotten your free Deborah Muller picture, contact Jen Reading with Pugs, and she will get a copy of that for you. Sorry, I have to cough a lot now. So, yeah, it was really fun. Thank you guys so much. Yes, I got my own jump scare when my old mama come in here and scared the pay lights out of me, the daylights out of me. So I need to go check on her too. But yeah, we had a really good time. I enjoyed it. It was fun. Yay! So thanks you guys for sitting in with us, and we will definitely have to do it again. I'll let you know when we have the next one planned. Have a good night, everybody. Night, John, night, Frank, and Bernadette, and Molly, and Nikki, and Cuddle Girl, and Aquaman. If you're still there, you have a good night too. And I hope I didn't miss anybody else. And Emilio, you guys have a good night.
Good night.
We will talk to you later.
Bye.
Don't keep your feet sticking out of the covers tonight either. Make sure to cover up your feet.